Hey guys, this is RealScope82 and this is another video from GT's board, and this is from the Manufactorer race on Suzuka. And of course I'm still driving my lovely Dodge, and this is actually from the first race I did. And this one I just wanted to show you this lovely power slide and a double overtake. But this is where that race ended, more or less. Apparently this is the death chicane, and pay attention to where I got bumped there. That's... I felt so tired after that. But next race, Ferrari in first, a 10-10 second, Cipiplo. We will see more of him later. And I'm in third for this race. I did a much better qualifying. So let's get it on. And here we are coming down to the first corner. Doesn't appear to be any dive bombers at all. Oh, FJ Gaming went way wide though. And I also went just a bit on the green tarmac or AstroTurf or whatever it is. Which meant that I lost some tenths up to Cipiplo in second. But FJ Gaming behind me went very wide in the first corner. So I did manage to open up a gap down to fourth. But for the next 1.5 to 2 laps, I didn't actually gain any speed on the guy in the Atenza. So we skipped a bit, and we are still like pearls on the string here. Lombardi Michael in first, and Cipiplo in second, and me in third. And you see, we have a very good gap down to fourth now. And it did appear that we were the fastest drivers. At least most stable at this point. I did notice though that Cipiplo were driving a bit erratically. I did make an assumption that he was on a controller, which he did later confirm for me. At this point though, I did feel like I could push my car a bit more than the guy in the Atenza, which meant that in this next hairpin I could go for a move, because I felt like I was close enough and he went a bit wide. And I just can't get it around in time. And we have a bit of awkward contact. But nobody went off, and we are still second and third. And I thought this was actually a pretty good battle. And we're starting to think that, okay, maybe we will just be fighting for a second or third place. But then Lombardi Michael does this. What are you doing, dude? Ho ho! So that means Cipiplo is now in first and I'm in second. Basically a free overtake. But this means that we are already now in a better position than we've been before. So can we go for the win? This also means that the mission at this point was to stay close enough to, well, get the slipstream down the straight, and also be close enough for him to make an unprovoked error. But that doesn't always succeed like you want to. But we had to make a shot at it. We're almost close enough to make a move, just showing ourselves in the side mirror, just to say, hey dude, we're here, we're gonna come for you. And sadly, I pushed the car a bit too much on these broken down tires, which means I go off course. This is where it's a very nice thing that we have a very big gap down to third place. And we're going to skip to the end of the lap and go for the pit stop. Cipiplo had, in that last turn coming out of the chicane, also had a little accident, which meant we caught up to him quite nicely. And we come out of the pits. Still in first and second place, but now FJ Gaming is catching up like a rocket. This also meant that we were in a new situation here, because again we were gathered up 1, 2, and 3 with a very small margin. And this is what I was talking about, Cipiplo being a bit erratic with his driving, because he's correcting his line on a controller that's just not as smooth as a steering wheel. But FJ Gaming is really trying to push hard from behind, while I am still trying to tuck into that slipstream from Split below. Just look at how close we are this late in the race. It's I really like these kind of races, but can we maybe get first, or do we lose a second? This is it's also very scary to be placed in the middle, because you keep wanna push for the guy in front, but you also have to be very aware of who's behind you. And I must admit, I really like this car, but I might not always be the best driver for it. And the tire wear is just... it's a broken record at this point, but the tire wear is just fucking atrocious. But we're still 1, 2, and 3, coming down to the last chicane. And FJ Gaming is almost close enough to make some kind of move on us, but not quite. We stay in second, and he does lose a bit on going for that little move there. We're still very close, but this doesn't really change until the next lap. And at this point, FJ Gaming had dropped behind because he had a couple of small incidents, I think. But we're really pushing to get Cipibolo to do a driver error. We're very close, and oh, he goes wide, and we have a bit of contact, and I slag a bit on the speed there because I didn't want to overtake him while driving him off, and you're really close. I love the race here. It's just it is so intense, and I tried to go on the inside, but he shuts the door in my face. And again, we're very close through the hairpin, and this is, oof. I think this might be the closest I've raced to anyone for this far distance without any of us making any kind of big error, which makes you lose the car. So we're coming into the soft left-handers, and Cipibolo does make a mistake here, and we go on the inside, which means that we now have a good line here, and I thought this might be a good opportunity to maybe pull out our first win. So coming through a high-speed corner and down towards the Strait of Death. And this happens. Oh, look at that. He tapped me the same freaking spot as the BMW. Oh, I was not happy here. I was going in for a bit of defensive line, and he just me right out of the stadium. He loses a spot himself, but I think my I was filling up with rage at this point, but I think this music kind of sums it up for me. So not only did I lose my first place and the chance of a win for the first time in an FIA race, I was dropped way down into fucking fourth. I was fuming with rage at this point, and I really had to work hard at getting myself in tune again, because it doesn't benefit you driving angry. And when he did that, there was 2 laps left of the race, because it was on lap 7, and I was still not completely calm here, and I give Suit a little punt, which makes him go too wide. So I wait on him here. This was kind of a wake-up call, you know. Come on, get yourself in check, dude. It's not Suit's fault. So I let him go by, so we can have a proper race. Suit's tires were worse than mine, I think, because already before this I had really caught up to him quite nicely. Look at that. While I overtake him on the outside, took this little snapshot afterwards. That was pretty cool. And I did have the speed. And coming down to the fast left-hander. Whoop. Just keeping it inside, and this is the last lap. And he's almost close enough to make a move on the inside, but not quite. And this is where my last bit of rage went away after I looked at the replay, because look at that. So Pibbler was actually waiting for us just before the finish line. He was aware that he had done a bad one. So he was doing the fair sportsmanship thing here, just waiting for me to pass along. Which meant that we, in the end, got a second place. Not really the win that we were on for, but we still got the best spot yet in a FIA race. As second place, 170 points. If you enjoyed the race, then don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even subscribe for more Gran Turismo Sport.